Omnisend is one of the biggest email marketing platforms out there for e-commerce businesses, agencies, SaaS, and just general businesses. In today's video, I'm gonna break down exactly how I think Omnisend can be used, the benefits, some of the sign-up form tools that they have, the segmentation, the flows, and obviously the price. Everyone knows that a lot of the email marketing platforms out there have gotten a lot more expensive. I'm not pointing fingers at anything in particular, but Omnisend definitely offers a lot of the core functionalities and capabilities that a lot of these other platforms offer, but at a much more affordable rate. My name's Gavin. I run an email and SMS marketing agency, and this is literally all I do, provide advice about email and SMS marketing. So if you have any questions, chuck them in the description to this video. If you want to check out Omnisend, there is a link in the description down below as well. Now, to be fully transparent, this video is being sponsored by Omnisend. So everything I say, keep that in mind. However, I have given a very in-depth review, I believe, in this video. And also, I've checked a few cool, really interesting aspects that I think a lot of other people don't look into, specifically in relation to things like their response time, the targeting that you can get on the sign-up forms. So watch the video, take a look, make your own judgment call. And once again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, check out the description of the video, some cool links, and also join my newsletter. But without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it. The first thing we need to touch on when it comes to actually taking a look at Omnisend overall is the price. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock recently, you know that the biggest player in the market right now has been Klaviyo, and as of recently, they have significantly increased their prices, which has caused a lot of people to move to different platforms. And Omnisend is a great platform if you're looking for a lot of those core features that Klaviyo has for a cheaper price. And I wanted to quickly give you a breakdown in terms of what that looks like. Now, you can actually go ahead and take a look at this and just see Omnisend's pricing breakdown compared to Klaviyo. And Omnisend does come out as a more affordable option when it comes to comparing these two platforms here. I mean, you can see, especially as the account grows, things do get significantly more affordable. On the Omnisend standard plan, for example, once you start getting into about 50,000 contacts, you're looking at saving almost $400 per month just on your billing for the ESP itself, ESP, email service provider, which in this case would be Omnisend. So straight off the bat, Omnisend is definitely a more affordable option. Now, I've gone across a few key aspects with Omnisend, and I really want to start over here. What you're looking at here is the sign-up form builder within Omnisend. Now, one of the great things about this platform is it has almost everything you need, especially when it comes to really dialing in your sign-up forms to maximize the on-site conversion rates. Now, if you're interested in learning a lot more about the Omnisend, the on-site conversion rates, how to use pop-up forms to maximize how much revenue you get from the forms, I've got a bunch of videos. Check out the rest of the channel. But looking at this now, what I really want to focus on is some of the conditions that Omnisend allow you to build into your sign-up forms. Now, this is a very blank template, and they allow you to do a lot more functionality when it comes to the designs of the sign-up forms. But the thing that I really like to focus on that separates a lot of the basic builders from the more complex builders is the targeting. Okay. One of the great things about sign-up forms is you can target different people based off of different stages in the customer journey, and you can do that here too. You can actually select who to show specific forms to based on the segment that they're in, right? All visitors, target by a specific segment. You can select segments down here. You can even obviously change a bunch of the traffic sources as well. So source targeting, you can target specifically by traffic source, which a lot of forms don't have. So for example, if you have Google ads coming in, Facebook, Instagram, email, and SMS, you can have different forms for different traffic sources. And if you're really good at marketing, you'll know that different traffic sources interact differently with your website. So you can actually display different offers, different data capture that you want to have. And speaking of data capture, I want to take a look at this really quickly. So if we actually look at the left-hand side here, excuse my silly face here, but what you can see here is we can start getting in interesting things too, where we can start doing radio buttons. Now, radio buttons, obviously, this is about collecting zero-party data, right? In this case, it would be gender, but you can customize this to say, you know, what do you like in your food? Question mark, right? Let's assume you're a food brand, right? And then obviously this is custom properties, so ignore this little thing. It's going to tell me that that's wrong. We've just gone ahead and changed that to food type. Then you can ask them, right? Chicken or beef. And obviously you can use this information to send people different emails, different curated paths, and you can also, if possible, match this to your purchase behavior. So who answers these questions, who purchases the most, and then you can take that zero-party data to shape the direction of your overall marketing strategy. You'll have to do that through segmentation using this tool, but nonetheless, the form builder has everything you need to have. And one cool thing too is it has the countdown timer as well, which a lot of other platforms miss. So the forms here, perfectly on point. Now I also want to talk a little bit about the segmentation. If we go to audience here, contacts, segments, you can create pretty dynamic segmentation. This is one of the things that I always find is like a deal breaker for a lot of these platforms out there, is how in depth can we get with our segmentation. Now, if we go here, we have quite a few properties that we can mess around with. We got the engagement, we've got the order history, and obviously a lot of this is going to come down to essentially how much data can be passed in from your platform. For example, if you have Shopify, I integrated the store with a dummy Shopify account, but you can see here, right, where it's like all contents who have order fulfilled at least once in total, right? So that can be anyone who's placed an order, right? But you can also begin filtering by the amount, so the value of the product, and you have a bunch of other things that you can dive into a little bit deeper here within the actual product itself, right? So the order fulfilled metric, you can play a lot or around a lot with, fulfillment status rather, the name, the city address, all sorts of stuff. So you get quite a lot. I mean, look at all this, a bunch of data that you can pull in from there. Now, another really important thing with segmentation that a lot of other platforms like MailChimp tend to mess up with here is they don't have the and or conditions. Like I can create combinations of these. You can't do that in a lot of other platforms. Like let me show you here. As you can see here, I can do and or, right? I've got two. A lot of platforms do not allow you to do that, which allows you to create more dynamic and complex segmentation within your strategy, which is super important when you do actually start getting into more advanced campaign segmentation strategies and just campaign strategies in general. Also, just really quick note, the dashboard's super clean, easy to access. Now, one other thing I did as well was I tested the response time for their support. And one of the great things about Omnisend here is that the 24/7 support, first of all, this is a Sunday, as you can see here at 3:30 that I opened this ticket. They got back to me within, I think, 2 minutes. Super quick on a Sunday too, which is awesome. And this was free. Like I'm on a free plan with an Omnisend here. And these guys gave me very clear, in-depth breakdowns of the support tickets that I have. You can see here, nice and easy, and they were right in there. So 24/7 human support too, which we all know what it's like talking to like a chatbot a lot of the times. Can be cumbersome, they don't understand, you get put into little loops. This is human, which I found super, super valuable. The other thing I wanted to quickly talk about too was the flow builder, a pretty intuitive flow builder. There was one thing though that I did struggle a little bit with, but we did have a workaround here. So really within these flows, super clear, you can kind of understand like what's going on here, nice and easy. You get a very clear view of how everything's kind of looking, awesome. Within most of my flows, how I like to approach flow builds is I like to send customers and non-customers down different splits or sides within that automation. Now, you can create splits within these flows, right? But you can create splits only off of the trigger filters, the contact properties, and the message engagement, okay? Now, if you want to split people by purchase behavior, you can do so based off of the trigger, or if you want to go back historically, for example, person has placed an order equals once over all time, you have to do a little bit of a workaround here. And that workaround involves creating a segment of people who are purchasers and then creating that split. Now, super easy because segments update dynamically. If I place an order and the condition of the segment is placed order equals once over all time or placed order is at least one over all time, I will automatically go into that segment because it is a behaviorally triggered segment, right? What this split here does is now looks for me if I'm in that segment. Let's assume I had the placed order equals once over all time segment here. It would look for that, contact properties, segment is placed order, and then it would split me. That is the way that you can create splits within Omnisend based off of purchase behavior. And honestly, it is one of the most important things you can do from an automation perspective, treating people differently based off of their purchase history. Overall, Omnisend, like I said, for the price you're paying, It is a much more affordable option in terms of most of the other things that are out there on the market, with all of the core functionalities you're going to need to build a strong foundational email marketing strategy. The automations are fantastic as well. You get a lot of depth here too. There are a few little workarounds that you do have to do, but for the most part, you're getting everything that you really need in terms of UTM tracking, settings. You can change the language, which is really nice, a bunch of cool stuff within there. And the sign-up forms, which are a major part of an email marketing strategy, are largely, they have everything that I would need to build out my sign-up form strategy, which you can see a link to in the description. Overall, these guys, solid, like really solid option for those who need to get their email marketing done for their e-commerce business. Now, I work specifically with e-commerce businesses, so this is what I'd be using it for. But Omnisend, solid option, and definitely with the rising prices out there, a much more affordable route to go down. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I make videos like this every single week. I release 2 a week. All I do is email and SMS marketing. So if you found this video useful, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, comment down below. I respond to every single thing that you guys say down there. So anything you want, just don't be mean. And also there's a link to Omnisend in the description of the video. That is an affiliate link, to be fully transparent, but check that out. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.